Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, text number 16. Sate ma vinashedvira prajanam kshema lakshanaha yasmin vinaste nripati Aishwaryadavarohati. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. Purport. Formerly, in practically all parts of the world, there were monarchies, but gradually, as monarchy declined from the ideal life of religion to godless life of sense gratification, monarchies all over the world were abolished. However, simply abolishing monarchy and replacing it with democracy is not sufficient unless the government men are religious and follow in the footsteps of great religious personalities. Text 17. Rajanna sadva amatyebhyas choradnibhya prajanripaha rakshan yatha balim granan iha pretya chamodate. Saintly persons continued. And the king protects the citizens from the disturbance of mischievous ministers as well as from thieves and rogues. He can, by virtue of such pious activities, accept taxes given by his subjects. Thus, a pious king can certainly enjoy himself in this world as well as in the life after death. Purport. The duty of a pious king is described very nicely in this verse. His first and foremost duty is to give protection to citizens from thieves and rogues, as well as from ministers who are no better than thieves and rogues. Formerly, ministers were appointed by the king and were not elected. Consequently, the king was not very pious or strict. The ministers would become thieves and rogues and exploit the innocent citizens. It is the king's duty to see that there is no increase of thieves and rogues, either in the government secretariat or in the departments of public affairs. If a king cannot give protection to citizens from thieves and rogues both in government service and in public affairs, he has no right to extract taxes from them. In other words, the king or the government that taxes can levy taxes from the citizen only if the king or the government is able to give protection to the citizens from thieves and rogues. The 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description of these thieves and rogues in government service. As stated, Prajaste Bhaksha Ishyanti Mlecha Rajanya Rupinaha. The proud mlechas, persons who are less than Shudras, representing themselves as kings, will tyrannize their subjects, and their subjects, on the other hand, will cultivate most vicious practices. Thus, practicing evil habits and behaving foolishly, the subjects will be like their rulers. The idea is that in the democratic days of Kali Yuga, the general population will fall down to the standard of Shudra. As stated, Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. Practically the whole population in the world will be Shudra. Shudra is a fourth-class man who is only fit to work for the three higher-class social caste. Being fourth-class men, Shudras are not very intelligent. Since the population is fallen in these democratic days, they can only elect a person in their category, but a government can run very well when it is run by the Shudras. Cannot run very well when it is run by the Shudras. The second class of men known as Kshatriyas are especially meant for governing a country under the direction of saintly persons, Brahmanas, who are supposed to be very intelligent. In other ages, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, general populace was not so degraded and the head of the government was never elected. The king was the supreme executive personality, and if he caught any minister stealing like thieves and rogues, he would at once have them killed or dismissed from service. As it is the duty of the king to kill thieves and rogues, it was similarly his duty to immediately kill dishonest ministers in government service. By such strict vigilance, the king could run the government very well. The citizens would be happy to have such a king. The conclusion is that unless the king is perfectly able to give protection to the citizens from rogues and thieves, he has no right to levy taxes from the citizens for his own sense gratification. However, if he gives all protection to citizens and levies tax on them, he can live very happily and peacefully in this life, and at the end of this life be elevated to the heavenly kingdom or even to Vaikunthas, where he will be happy in all respects. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So the sages are continuing to speak to King Vena about the duties of a king and the benefits of such a Kshatriya king giving protection to the citizens, what benefits accrues to him personally, as well as how the society itself would thrive. The king's duty, because the society comprises all kinds of living entities, both the divine and the demoniac. So it is the king's duty to give protection to the souls, innocent souls, who want to follow their dharma and give such protection from the disturbance created by the asuric kind of living entities. So this is very much common in this material world. You need a social organization, and Krishna, this world being created by Krishna for Krishna's purposes, ultimate purposes. He himself, Chaturvarne Maya Shishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha, he has given through the Vedas the perfect social organization of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and then the four ashramas, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. So basically, Gunakarma Vibhagasha. It was these classes of and divisions were very scientific because they were based on the ability of the person to work, either as an intellectual or as a Vaishya or as a Kshatriya, as a Shudra. We all see these are all different abilities of our body-mind system. So each of us have body which has got different inclinations, either Brahminical inclination or Kshatriya inclination, Vaishya inclination, Shudra inclination. And they're supposed to engage in activities that suits them, their taste or their inclination. And that Varnashrama system is to be set up and governed by the king. And the king is a repository of all powers of the king, in the kingdom. And therefore, he devolves his powers, different degrees of powers to Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. And in this way, the entire community, the human society, would thrive. In which way? Not thrive in the sense modern GDP, all these things. The human society thriving means the human population should have very comfortable situation to practice their spiritual life. Simply by being situated in their varnashrama, in their slot, sthanusitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Hari is pleased. The first level of pleasure of Hari is to stay within your varna and ashrama and execute your duties. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Raya, he asked, what gives pleasure to the Lord? What gives the greatest pleasure to the Lord? For the sake of educating this world, Ramananda Raya started with being a good citizen of Varnashrama pleases Hari. And that is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Tanusitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So when we are talking about, when these sages are talking about being a good citizen, being a good king, he is talking about the first level of pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prompts him, no, that is not the highest one. Next, like this he goes on. Up to the gopis surrender to Krishna as the highest form of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here in these verses, in the case of King Vena, the elementary, the minimum level of progressive spiritual life is to stay within one's assigned prescribed duties. That is one. Next is to stay within the prescribed duties and be Krishna conscious in the sense that even if one is not Krishna conscious, if he simply follows Varnashrama Dharma, at least he is obedient to the system set up by Krishna. There's nothing to do with bhakti. But next, when you engage in your, situate yourself in your varna and ashrama with the goal to please Vishnu, then bhakti yoga begins. Step by step, there are different levels of pleasing the Supreme Lord, who is a Lord of everything, who is a Lord of the material world also. Not only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the material world we see apparently that there are so many people who are controlling everything, and it doesn't look like Lord is controlling. But actually Lord is the Param Ishvara. He allows so many living entities to control. Starting from the king. An ideal king is supposed to execute his duties as a Kshatriya, as a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Representative means to carry out his design, his wishes for the human society, for the animal society, for every living entity, how on behalf of the Lord he should be acting. As Prabhupada is saying, this democracy, this monarchy, over the years, again due to misuse of the monarchs, misuse of their powers for sense gratification, that monarchy also has collapsed. And now there is democracy. And in this democracy, unless people elect personalities who are basically Kshatriyas, but their power is utilized on the directions of the Brahmanas, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, who will enlighten the king about Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And whole goal is to give protection to each living entity, to pursue his purpose, human purpose. And it is understood that in the normal society, which is not Kali Yuga society, it is understood that each person has to fit within the Varnashrama system. And clearly within the society there are classifications based on work. Somebody is a Shudra, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Brahmana. So modern people who are ignorant of the Vedic system, they say this is a caste system. This is not a caste system. This word caste itself has come from the English people to create a kind of discrimination between people. According to Vedic system, everybody is of equal importance for the society. Just like this human body, brain is required, hands are required, belly is required, feet is required. Can you say one is less important than the other? No. For the whole body to run, all of them are serving each other. Leg is serving the whole body, belly is serving the whole body, hands are serving the whole body, the brain is serving the whole system. So that is how the entire Varnashrama system is scientifically a social system which supports each other, and it is not any caste system. Even if you don't want, even if you say, just like Prabhupada when he went to Russia, he had a conversation with a sociologist, Professor Katowski, and he asked Prabhupada, what about your caste system in India? So Prabhupada very intelligently diverted him from the caste and asked him, in your society, do you have an intellectual class of people who are absorbed in intellectual work whole day or largely? Yes, he said. In your Russian society, are there people who are engaged in the occupation of trading, business? You have a business community? Yes. You have. Do you have people who are rulers, who administer justice, who make laws? Do you have? Oh, definitely we have. And do you have people who are working in the factories? Large number of them. You have a large number of them working in the fields, agriculture, food production. Yes, we have. So then Prabhupada said, the intellectual class, you need these four kinds of. Can the society run without these four? He said, no. So intellectual class is called Brahmana. The ruling class, administrative class is called Kshatriya. And the business community is called Vaishya. And people who serve all the three are called Shudras. So where is the question? It's objective. You cannot escape these four classes. But these four classes have been rubber stamped as caste by the Britishers. Because the idea of a caste makes one inferior to the other. Brahmana is the superior, etc., inferior to the other. Socially speaking. Functionally, Brahmana may be doing a tougher task. Kshatriya may be next, like that. That is different. But each of them have, if you take a Brahmana and tell him to do work in the field, he cannot do. You take the person who's working in the field, tell him you manage this whole, get into management. He cannot do. So it is an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener to Professor Katowski. And how it's a universal social system. And Prabhupada explained, the Chaturvarnim Maya system, God has created this. Not out of birth. Chaturvarnim Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. What is the basis for Vibhagasha, for division? Guna and Karma. There is no Janma there. So, lot of injustice has happened also in this country, where the foreign forces have twisted these things to divide and rule. Otherwise, this is a process, very smoothly running system. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, the beginning, but gradually it has, the system has got distorted. The elements are still there. As Prabhupada said, even in a Russian society, the four are there. But the interrelationship between them, each of them are trying to exploit the other. Whereas in the Varnashrama system, each of them are supporting each other. And whether supporting or exploiting, that was a job of the Kshatriyas. When there was exploitation, Kshatriya used to be very strict. Stop exploitation. So unfortunately, as Prabhupada says, Kalo Shudra Sambhava, it's a society full of Shudras. Even if they are born of Brahmana families, they're Shudras. Just see, that verse itself shows Kalo Shudra Sambhava, everybody is Shudra. What does it mean? That Shudra is not a caste. Everybody is fallen. They have no ability to do higher functions properly. Shudra acts like sits in the position, handles the power of Vaishya, handles the power of Kshatriya, handles the power of Brahmanas, or plays the role of a Brahmana. Because somebody has to be do intellectual things. Somebody has to rule. Somebody has to, if qualified with guna karma, Kshatriyas are not there. Somebody else will sit as a Kshatriya and they will exploit the population. As Prabhupada says in the 11th canto, in the 12th canto, the description is given of what will happen in Kali Yuga. There is no protection from thieves and rogues. And people in this are harassed. So this is the system set up by the Creator, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how the human society should be organized. So first level of pleasure of the Lord is by following the Varnashrama system, which will result in prosperity. You see, because of your activities, here it says, that this will bring happiness and prosperity, material happiness and prosperity to the whole society. And the spiritual life is a separate thing. Now all this is talking about the appropriate environment to be created in the human society, wherein the person can pursue spiritual life. You see, in our country, it was before this Ugra Karma civilization, industrial revolution, industrialization, all these things have come. People were not so busy. By evening, they were completely free, and they used to have early dinner, and they used to hear Harikatha, either Ramayana or Mahabharata, go to sleep early, and they used to get up very early in the morning, Brahma Muhurta. So this was a system in India. But with the kind of Ugra Karma that has come from the West, Ugra Karma products, Ugra Karma life. Ugra Karma means those activities which are not required for achieving the purpose of human life. Those karmas, industrial production, consumerism, so much of consumer goods. Did the society not exist without consumer goods? So somebody may say, oh, it increases the convenience of the persons. What is wrong in consumer goods? If somebody else is working, slogging, and you are enjoying, you are enjoying the goods, which is not actually required. Even required for the human body, even for this yantra, in order to keep it in good condition to pursue spiritual life. So basically, you can see the vacuum in the society. Vacuum of the purpose of human life is completely absent in Kali Yuga. And that is where Krishna consciousness preaching, the essential preaching of Krishna consciousness is to start with saying that there is a higher purpose for human life. Human life, one gets after so many millions of births, going through 84 lakh species of life. And the top 4 lakh species are the human, different levels of sattvic, rajasic, tamasic living entities, human beings. So as human beings, very rare. the number of micro germs in your hand, in your palm, will be more than the human population. Each of those bacteria or germs are each living entity on par with you as far as spirit, soul is concerned. So just imagine, the human population is nothing compared to that. So such is a rarity of human form of life. Not simply being, by numbers we can say, not simply saying human form is rare. If you compare like this, you will see if all living entities are same, then human form of life is very rare. The great opportunity for one to please Vishnu by first staying within the Varnashrama. When the Varnashrama system is all gone, everything is gone now. So now only thing is one has to engage in occupational duty to keep his body and soul together, live a minimalistic life. This is a direction for Kali Yuga. Live a minimalistic life, not a luxurious life. Live a minimalistic life and chant Hare Krishna. Engage in Sankirtana. Engage in distribution of prasadam. Engage in different devotional services. Chanting and hearing, reading, Bhagavatam, all these things. But now, where is it there? It's not there. Even devotees who initiated outside, they find it difficult. Because to run a non-minimalistic life in the society, itself they have to work till 9 o'clock in the night. So where is time to read? Where is time? Nothing. A very sad situation. You can see so many congregation devotees. They are struggling very hard to finish 16 rounds. This is a curse of Kali Yuga. And the blessing of Kali Yuga is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if somebody is seriously taking to devotion service and chants Hare Krishna, slowly he will become liberated from this trap of no time. But person should take guidance from the devotees. And the biggest way Maya snatches away, puts the living entity into Maya, is by taking away your time. Even if you desire. A congregation desires something. We are blessed to be engaged in the Lord's service with no other business in life. When it comes to congregation, they have to be very alert that the way Maya comes into their life is by snatching away their time in different forms. So they have to collect, even we have to collect every little time that we have and engage in devotion service. We have got the opportunity in the temple to engage in devotion service 24 hours, practically. So we should also be very, very cautious about our time. This freedom that we have got should not be misused by simply spending time on internet, seeing reels. You should think it may appear to be very harmless. Even if it is, it may not be breaking principles. It may be harmless. Some news, some this, some that, some comedy, this thing, all these things. So I'm not breaking regulative principles. Reel after reel after reel after reel. Go in your internet. How much valuable time you're misusing? Krishna has given valuable time without any anxieties of existence. The outside, even if you want to see, there's no time to see reels. Because you have to earn. Anxieties of life. By Krishna's blessing, we have been freed from such anxieties of life. Now, we should not misuse our time. We should read Prabhupada's books. We should hear Prabhupada's lectures. If you have little free time, you should also. So, capturing time is a very important activity that the devotee should do in fight against Maya. Devotees should be conscious of time. Rare opportunity I have got. I shall not use my time for anything other than devotion service of the Lord. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, bro. As you told, we are blessed from Prabhupada and Krishna that we have opportunity to finish our rounds early, unlike other devotees, congregation devotees. But we see that sometimes devotees also, in the name of services, keeping their rounds pending till late night. And so thinking that this is also important, service also is much important. Then the Japan, it's become the habit of doing every day till night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So what's your suggestion on this?
You see, it all depends on your mindset. Devotees can give all kinds of rationalization. If you're doing late round, if you're finishing your rounds very late in the evening, you take your total time. Again, time is required there. So why not do it in the morning? When this temple was being built, when we were in the shed, for 10 years, we followed this. Before Prasadam, everybody finishes their 16 rounds. And that monitoring was done. That yajna, this 16 rounds, is the yajna that you do. That means you dedicate your mind. If you consider each Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a spoon of ghee, Swaha, 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 each bead is a Swaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Then get up and go. No, yajna means what? Bite over. Next spoon you put, next minute. And you should have a target to finish 108 into 16. So, the yajna bala that you get for the whole day will be amazing. You want to serve the Lord, your clarity of consciousness, your direction that you get from your heart, from the Lord. Don't put ulta. Morning I get up and do other services. In the night I will start 16 rounds. So we should try to finish our 16 rounds in the morning. If at least if pujaris can't do it, they can do it before lunch, but find time. One should consider that his life is useless, his day is useless if he has not performed this yajna of 16 rounds. It's a target. Haridas Thakur took a target every day. So it changes your entire life. And your entire life is protected. Day after day, it goes beautifully if you finish your 16 rounds in the morning. All kinds of protection you get. All kinds of guidance you get. You will see years pass by, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years in Prabhupada's movement without any difficulties. Blissfully you are progressing. Most important thing is chanting the 16 rounds nicely. Yes, next question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. How do we bring regulation between services?
Between?
Service like when watching reels. Suppose that is the service if somebody is doing. That by seeing the reels, we should also try to promote Krishna consciousness in this way so that people consume it more. So in that preaching aspect, if somebody is watching, so how do we differentiate between whether it is for the service or it is for the sense gratification?
You should see the purpose. Sharp, focused on the purpose. Suppose you are in video production, Krishna conscious video production. Then you want to learn the techniques of what kind of videos capture people's attention. Right? Then you have to get educated. So when you have a purpose with which you go, you don't have to fear. That will protect us. Exactly like how we are sadhus, we handle money. Because money can be used in service of the Lord. So we are fearless in handling money as long as our purpose is very clear. What do we do with the money? So in the same way, we have to have our area of service is there. We may learn good things from the outside world. For that, we have to put our mind into it. But it has to be focused, not a scatterbrain. Not a scatterbrain. There are so many things to eat in this material world. Meat is there, this is there, that kind of meat, this kind of meat. But do we eat everything? No. We choose what we eat and make it prasadam. Correct? Because of purpose. In the same way, what we send into our mind through internet, you have to be very selective. And selective, when you select something, you need a filter. What is the filter? Whether it serves my purpose or not. Or I am whiling away time. Or I am in the trap of a scattered brain. All this we have to be extremely cautious. Everything can be used in service of the Lord. All technology can be used in the service of the Lord. Just like a newspaper. You have to see headlines, you know, mota what is happening in this world. So you see that. But not that you sit there and, newspaper becomes for most of the people, newspaper is what? They sit 1 hour, 2 hours on the newspaper so that they can forget their real life. They can read somebody else, somebody else's stories. It's not his story. Newspaper is not his story. Because his story is, a lot of problems are there. Just like intoxication, no? You want to forget your story. So newspaper is like that. Go on reading, very anand. Somebody murdered somebody, not me. He'll read. Poverty very high, not me. All these kind of things come and you see. So that also becomes that means instead of taking shelter of the holy name, you take shelter of newspaper. When I have problems, I am supposed to take shelter of the holy name, depend on the holy name, face the challenge, not intoxicate, not go and read some newspaper, all these things. So there is a purpose. I want to know big way what is happening in the political thing. That's all. And suddenly you see one car hit somebody, and forget it, no, I don't know. Just skip all that. Every day millions of cars are hitting millions of people and dying and all those things are happening. So we are very selective in everything with a purpose. We don't throw away anything that is useful in service of the Lord. So big responsibility is on us. We have to train our mind. Okay? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.